Hey everybody, welcome to Money Mondays. I am Dan the Real Estate Man. And I created Money Mondays so that we can do what it sounds like. Talk about all things money, talk about, a lot of what I've learned about money throughout my 20 plus years of investing, but also speak to other experts, right? Other people I know in the industry, and have them share their input on money, money strategies, basically all things money. And before I get started, I want to let everybody know, if you are not following Bragg Investors at Bragg Investors, make sure you follow at Bragg Investors. Bragg is a group that I started about 5 years ago. Bragg stands for the Black Real Estate Alliance Group. It is a community of black investors, entrepreneurs, contractors, vendors, agents, brokers, lenders, and it's a great organization if you want to network, if you want to learn. And this week, this upcoming Wednesday, March 20th, we're going to be having our first in-person meeting of the year. We have a great panel lineup. We have Anthony Lee, we have Newt, the entrepreneur, and we have Camille from Legacy Builders. They're going to be talking about winning strategies for 2024. So if you have not signed up for this event, you can head over to @Bragg Investors, click the link there, and sign up for the meeting. This Wednesday, March 20th, from 7 to 9 p.m. is going to be in person. It's going to be a lot of information. There's going to be a lot to learn. It's going to be great networking. You all have heard me talking many times about networking and all of the advantages, all of the benefits of networking. So this is the event that you want to be at. This Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Bragg, first in-person meeting of the year. We have a great lineup. It's going to be a lot of great information, a lot of great people. Make sure that you are in the building. All right, so I got a great guest coming on. I've been seeing this young man grow. He is in real estate. He is an expert in not only credit and building your credit and fixing your credit, but also he is an expert in building business credit. One of the things that I like about him, amongst other guys, is that they took what was a fairly well-known field, right? I've been getting business credit for a while, but they really dove deep to kind of figure out all the nooks and crannies, all of the ways to really squeeze all of the juice out of getting business credit. So, my hat is off to this guy. Like I said, I've been investing for 20 years, and I went to him for advice on business credit because he just has that much more experience. So it's not always about how long you've been in the game. If somebody knows more, you got to be humble, recognize that person knows more, and go get that information, right? So never be too big to go out and get help from people that are doing it. All right, so I'm going to bring him on. See if I can get him on there.
Hey,
What's going on, brother?
hey, how you feeling? How you feeling?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And you?
Hey, I can't complain. Nobody want to hear it anyway, so we keep going.
Facts, right? I feel like that's the most. I mean, it's kind of a BS question because it's just a pleasantry. Nobody really. If you started going there, I'm like, okay, you probably push right past it anyway. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
We gotta keep it going. We gotta keep it going.
Absolutely, man. So listen, I definitely appreciate you coming on here, man. I was, letting the folks know who may not know about your background. I know that you and I have spoken a few times. I know you have a great story that people need to hear. But also, what I was giving you the shout out was that, you know, I've been investing longer and I've done business credit, but I was saying that you went like deep into it, right? I got some business credit and I kind of kept it moving. Oh, this is cool, right? I got the money, but you guys went in. You know what I mean? Like really, I feel like cracked the code to that, and like I love seeing it because I feel like that each generation hopefully is building on the next, right? Like somebody does it, and then the next guy goes in like, okay, that looks cool. Let me expand on that. So definitely want to give you your props, man, because you went far beyond what I was even thinking about at that moment. And it's just interesting how different folks' minds work. So,
Yeah.
can you tell us just who you are, no quick background, and we'll just kind of get into a couple of different topics.
All right. So how you doing, everybody? My name is Andre Haynesworth. I'm owner and founder of Haynesworth LLC. What I get into is helping people repair their credit and also using that to leverage their credit to access to business capital to fund whatever business entity they want to get into, whether if it's real estate, trucking, whatever it is. And that's pretty much what I do. And I'm also a real estate investor. And I successfully with thank you for sure. I was able to successfully complete and refi out of a 5-unit building, thanks
Nice.
to multi-family himself. So again, I appreciate you for that. And yeah,
Absolutely.
that's my small background. I'm from Philly, born and raised, and I invest in Philly. So if there are any wholesalers on here, if you got properties, RM1 and 19140 and 133, send them to me.
Hey, see, you guys hear that? This is it. This is what I tell people all the time, right? Especially because I like social media is good for stuff like this. But you're very clear about what you're looking for, right? Even down to the zoning and to the zip codes, right? You know that's super important. If you just like, yo, I'm buying in Philly, send me what you got, you're gonna get a lot of garbage. You're going to get a lot of garbage, man. So, huh? What was that?
That you got to be detailed to the T. You got to know your zoning. You got to know what area you want to build in, even sometimes even a block. So you never know what might come down to your email. So I run across deals almost every day. So
Yeah.
now that I'm very precise on what I want, I'm finding what I need now. So
Yeah.
the next deal I crazy coming up.
Yeah. I feel like when you're kind of hyper focused, it's like a funnel, and you get to weed out a lot of stuff. People are not sending you everything. You know, a lot of deals that I've gotten is because I was focusing in West Philly. People knew that I was buying there. People knew that I was buying multifamily stuff. And they also knew that I would close. So if I put it in the contract, it wasn't like, oh, you know, it's going to fall out. Like I would close. So it's easier to deal with somebody like me or like you, even if it's not the highest price, because not a lot of BS. You know,
Right.
you don't got to chase me around. Like once I sign a contract, that's a wrap. You know,
Right.
like just meet me whatever it is, 20 days later, 30 days later, like that's it. So like once you build that reputation, I feel like things get a lot easier.
100%.
I do want to touch on something that you didn't mention because I thought it was a great part of your story, and it's how you got involved in real estate, right? Because there's a lot of people are interested that have the W-2, and there is always a dream to get involved in real estate full time. So can you kind of briefly talk about that, like how you got
So yeah.
involved?
Yeah, so I was working at Cricket Wireless at the time as a phone store company. And how I got started was, it was funny. So normally about once a month, I used to have some of my friends come by my store. We used to talk about how we was going to get in real estate. And we used to have these meetings over and over and over, like how we going to get into it. We going to save money. Okay, yeah, we going to get a loan from the bank. Okay, it was just all these different strategies trying to get in, but nobody would never actually do it. So what I did was I took the liberty and went to TD Bank online application for a business loan. I actually, it was at the time you was able to just fill out an application online. There wasn't no banking account you need. It was actual PDF application that you'll just fill out. You can hit submit, and the underwriter or somebody to get back to you. So that's what I did before I created my business, before I created LLC, before I knew any knowledge that I knew about credit at all. I just said, all right, I know for sure I'm gonna need at least $100,000. Whatever the case may be, I'll need $100,000. The number I just was sticking in my head. I don't even know what I was gonna use it for. And again, no prior education on real estate, no credit, but I just knew that I needed to get a loan for $100,000. So I filled out the application. Once I filled it out, the very next day, the underwriter contacted me and let me know that the application was denied because you don't even have a business. Because I put in all my personal information. I didn't have no business set up. I didn't have a business name, a business address, business email, nothing at all. I wasn't incorporated at all as a business owner. So they denied the application. And after further doing research, I realized that, hey, I need to incorporate myself. But before I do that, I need to actually educate myself. So I went to multiple mentorships and got myself educated on personal credit. And then on personal credit, I got myself educated on business credit. And then on business credit, I was able to accumulate a lot of funding. In my first year of funding, I accumulated maybe about $300,000 in business credit. And then I had to understand real estate though. So after I got the personal credit, the business credit, I understand real estate. And simultaneously, I'm also teaching others the same thing. I'm also helping people repair their credit. I'm also helping other business get business funding so they can invest whatever business venture they want to get into. So after I got more understanding on real estate, I started to invest. I started to contact Facebook Market. I started to contact, let them know, getting in different groups, sending out mass texts to friends, family, just sending them that I'm looking for properties. I'm looking for properties to buy, but then I had to go in more detail like we did at the beginning. I had to tell them, okay, I'm looking to buy in this zip code, this type of property. And the more detail I kept getting, the more deals I kept coming. Then I had to tell a bunch of realtors. I was a realtor junkie in the beginning. I was like contacting multiple realtors, let them know, whatever you got, send them to me until I found the right realtor, and then they ended up sending me the property that I needed, and I ended up closing it and making a single family into a 5-unit building. And that's how I got into real estate very, very quickly because of business credit and information.
Nice. And so what happened to the friends that you were meeting with?
Oh man. So all due respect to them, but none of them never got into real estate. It was a situation where over time we talked, and I try to check in. I know they, sometimes they ask me questions here and there, but it was never to the point where it's like, all right, I'm ready to invest. So if I'd have kept staying in that same path with them, I would have got into real estate. I would have never started my business because, and it's, I think that situation. That's why it's never no grief, never no beef, none of that. It was I actually appreciate that learning lesson, because if it wasn't for that moment, I wouldn't have realized that I had to stop being a punk. I had to, because and that's another thing that actually happened to me. So right before I got into real estate, I took a trip to Jamaica, and it's this top of the mountain where you jump into the river, and in that moment, I'm telling you, Dan, it was a moment. It was like I forgot the word for it. It's so like it hit me later, but it was a moment I had that me off this cliff into the water was going to be my way of jumping into real estate. And why I coordinate the two is because I have a big fear of heights. I don't like heights. I don't like roller coasters. I don't like nothing up in the air. So me doing this, me jumping off this cliff, was a moment of, all right, this is the time I'm gonna do something so big that it's going to change my life. So when I jumped into that water, I did something really big. I know how to swim, but again, I don't like heights. So I jumped, drowned, I swim back to the shore, and I was good. And when I came back home, I got under contract on my first property because I knew taking on, and I did not care because I had the education. I just had to just go. I had to stop being a punk, and I did that. I was brave, but in order to be brave, you actually got to be a little fearful first. So I was fearful, brave, and executed on all the information I got, and I successfully did what I need to do. And now I'm continuing on to do even bigger things in the future, in the nearby future at that.
Nice, man. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that I hear there. Number one is, facing your fear. And number two is being uncomfortable. So you don't like heights like that makes you uncomfortable. right? You probably felt comfortable going in with your friends, right? And that's just something that you got to do dolo now, right? And the one thing people have heard me say this over and over and over again, right? It all starts with mindset. No matter how corny that might sound, no matter how many plays y'all might want to get, you can get a million plays. The plays won't work until this thing right here work. I'm telling you. I might get a shirt that say that. Like, the plays won't work until this work. There's nothing wrong with getting the information, right? But you have to work on your mind. There are things I believe, and I'm curious to what you believe, right? We have some conditioning. A lot of us, especially most of us, a lot of us that weren't raised around money,
Right.
or were not raised around entrepreneurs. That we have that conditioning, and until we address that, we'll always be stuck at a certain space. Is that something that you found to be true, or what's your thoughts on it?
1000%. So even in the midst of my friends, so it's like they wasn't the only person I was talking about real estate. It was just that's who I was speaking to the most. But the other people talking about in real estate, they was telling me that no, don't get into real estate. It's a bad time to get into it. And why are you getting real estate? Where are you getting this money from? But did you know about the landlord down the street that had to kick everybody out and he couldn't be successful? Like, it was just all these horror stories. And then it got to the point where it was just like, all right, I'm getting all this negative feedback around me. It's because I'm in a wrong circle. I gotta get back in
Yep.
real estate that's doing it, that can tell me their horror stories, but also tell me their solutions around with it. It's that there's going to be problems, but a solution. I never heard anything about real estate that was a problem that have no solution to it. Like, I just heard it yet. So
Yeah.
because I've kept myself a like-minded individuals like that, I was able to
Yeah.
continue to
Yeah.
go on and move and grow my business and be around like-minded individuals that put me in the right place, that gave me the right information, and I was able to execute from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And is a great segue for me to tell everybody that you need to network. And if you're not a part of Bragg is the Black Real Estate Alliance group. We're having a meeting this Wednesday, March the 20th, 7 to 9 p.m. is our first in-person meeting. We have a great panel. We have Anthony Lee. We have Newt, the entrepreneur, and we have Camille. And they're going to be talking about all their strategies for newer investors, seasoned investors, and kind of what they're seeing out there. So if you're not a Bragg member, if you haven't signed up for that meeting, go after this is over, shoot over to @Bragg Investors, sign up for the meeting. It's great networking. It's like Andre was saying, which I was going to touch on, but he bought that idea out. You got to be around, when you're trying to change levels, you got to be around people that are moving in that direction, or else you're going to have people, that are holding you back. So this Wednesday, March 20th, Bragg meeting, sign up. So you said something that's super true, and I think people may not realize this. We have these relationships and friendships a lot of times, and we want to bring people with us. Like, we really want to. One thing I've found, and I've said this many times, but I'll say it again here because people might not have seen it. So I used to work for SEPTA, as many people know, and I decided when I was 30 that I was going to retire from SEPTA when I was 35. But I didn't tell anybody I was leaving SEPTA until three or 4 months prior to me leaving. And that's only because my wife was like, no, you should really tell me. Because I did not want anybody affecting me with their fear. I didn't want 5 years of somebody telling me, well, why you gotta leave? You could just stay here. You could, and some of them would have been well-meaning. Some of it would have been hate. Some of it would have been people not really wanting to see you get ahead, right? But ultimately, in my opinion, it's their fear that they want to put in you, because it's almost like, how dare you going after your goals while I'm sitting here scared.
Right.
I mean, have you seen that, or what's your thoughts on that?
I've seen that for sure. So, and I wanna talk a little bit about that. So, with that, I didn't leave my job. I just did change the people that I had this conversation with. So, because I realized in business funding, so everybody know me as a guy that's in the business credit and the business funding. I did use my job as my business partner to secure capital. Like I also tell my clients, I also tell my friends, my family, if you do want to get into entrepreneurship and you are working, right? And if your job is not causing like an immediate danger where you thinking about killing yourself or it's stressing you out to the point where the worst of the worst can happen, stick to that job because you're going to use that as to get yourself capital. But you clock out, go around like-minded people. When you're in a situation where you are working day in and day out, but you know at the end of that tunnel, you know why you're doing this. It's a different way you come to work. So you're gonna come to work knowing that, all right, I'm only here another 3 more months, another 2 weeks. It's different. So when you change your mindset, being around that different circle of people that's already doing it, it changes the way you move. It changes the way you feel because you're moving with purpose.
Yeah.
And when you move with purpose, it's just a different light. Like I heard about, I was reading this story about a NBA player. He wanted to open up a McDonald's, and he took on the off season. He took up a job working at McDonald's, and people was wondering, why the heck you working at McDonald's? Like, no, well, I'm coming here because I'm trying to learn a business. And stuff like that, just give you that small story. Stuff like that is a reason why when you are, again, knowing the information and executing, the things you do is different. Now, everybody not may not agree with it, but the people that I never met somebody that's doing better than me hating on me. I just never did. So because of that, when you go into work and everybody judging, like, yo, what you doing here? What you still here? If you making all this money, why are you doing this? Well, because I know that, again, I need a job. It's 3 months to the end of the year. I already know the bank gonna ask for my pay stub, my tax return. I want to make sure this job is here all the way because in the next 3 months I'm gonna secure another $200,000 business fund so I can invest in real estate, so I can get 6 properties, 7 properties that's gonna pay me this job that they pay me annually. They gonna this rental payment is gonna pay me monthly. So these are the things that you got to understand. Where when you invest in and you have a job, like you said, being around like-minded people and also changing the way you think is very important in this industry, in every industry. There you go.
Yeah. Go, yeah. I'm messing around, man. Let me stop touching stuff. Yeah, no, those are great points, man. You know what? It makes me think of another story about how you move different when you have that purpose. Um, I had a boss when I was at SEPTA. I mean, I really disliked this dude, and that's keeping the real miles for this. Really disliked this dude, and I remember I was in the third or fourth year of my plan, right? So back to what you were saying, I had my plan. I was working crazy overtime, and all I was doing was I was buying properties. I would do a refi, go right. I mean, I was just rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And he brought me in on some nonsense because me and him, we just didn't see we just didn't see eye to eye.
Right.
It's one of those kind of guys, and he was getting on my nerves. I remember I said, "Yo, I got like less than a year left with this dude." It made the whole situation like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
There you go.
And like you want people to just feel that one day,
Right.
like to kind of take that power back, right? To know, like, yo, dude, I'm in like a year, you can do all this that you chew me out. I'm out of here. And in about a year, I'm gone. So that's a different kind of purpose. Like once you have that, if you can stick to it, if you're disciplined enough, you also made another great point, and I've heard you say this previously. People really need to lock in on this. Is that yes, like your job is a partner, man. Banks love W-2 income, right? That can help you get over a lot of hurdles if you have W-2 income. So don't be so quick. Don't let people hype you up to move at their speed. And you don't even really know what their real story is. right? So you may be fast tracking to get somewhere, and they wishing that they were where like you are. So I definitely think that's a great point. So I mean, what made you go down this business credit path, like beyond getting the loan and like I've done those things, but what was it? Was like, man, I really want to crack this code. Like what brought that up?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It was because of my clients. Like when I started hearing people different, I hear a lot of different situations, and it challenged me to learn more because I'm not the type of person to tell my clients like I don't know. I always try to find out from them, and for me being a person that like to find out information, it made me discover more and more information that was beneficial to me and to my clients.
Mm.
So because of that, I even recently the fact that right now a lot of people did quit their job. A lot of people are working as entrepreneurs, and they're in a situation where they can't get funded. And I asked them like, why you can't get funded? I'm like, well, I do hair, I do contracting, and I'll do everything in cash. A lot of people do everything in cash,
Mm.
and I tell them, so, all right, so that's your problem. You don't have any proof that you make money. So what I do is I tell all my contractors, set up a Stripe account. So not only it could be convenient for me so I can pay you, right? Now you got reported income report onto your Stripe account is going to your account, and now it's documented that you're making money. Which
Yeah,
you'll have two different offers as a contractor, right? If you got something simple as a merchant account set up with you, as again, one is Stripe. You got two things that's happening there, how you can access capital. You can get Stripe that's going to contact you. If you start accruing enough transactions, Stripe is going to contact you with no credit check to
sure
give you
enough.
funding. That's one. Then you're going to have the bank contact you. The bank going to contact now as you go into making deposit, let's say for I don't know, let's say Truist for an example. If you're making transaction deposits every single month and at a consistent rate, they're going to contact action. Do you need any capital for your business? Or you can inquire for it. Because now what you have is documented income. And me knowing information like that, I cannot hold it for myself. I have to let people know because I'm not somebody that gatekeeps. I have to tell you because now you can get capital from two different places. One, pulling your credit with a good interest rate, and 9 times out of 10 is 0% interest with no interest at all. You can use that as funding, and you can get it from your merchant account. That'll give you a business loan. Well, it is higher interest, but there's no credit check. And this is for my people, or I should say my entities that are not in a good space on their credit, and they need that funding. So it's two ways you can get funded just on that way. So learning these different little tactics like this will push me and drive me to learn more and more and more so I can give it out for free. Or if you're my client, you get a complete breakdown on how this is done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's it's so important to really just understand all these different financing options. So you just got interested in saying how does this stuff work? How can you get deeper deeper into understanding the process of it all? I think I went that way on the lending piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that was very fortunate for me was early on, I one of my first lenders, I've been doing business with this guy since 2000 and man,
Mm.
8. So now we're talking 16 years.
Oof.
Um, and he really put me on to how the banking works, how they underwrite the deals,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I remember like right before I was going to leave Scepter, we would sometimes we go out have drinks or dinner. I was like, hey, I'm gonna quit my job. How can I make sure that I'm still financeable? He said, listen. He said, just make sure your last year is good. He said, in that first year, we are actually going off of your previous year tax returns.
Right.
So you got that whole year, and then on that year, you can, make some cash, and in that way, that by the time that next year come around, because they're not they only check the tax return for that one time. And that was great advice, and that set me up nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing that I thought about that what you were saying is there's a lot of people that's getting really bad advice, really really bad advice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like you're telling folks like, hey, you get these Stripe accounts. So you got people that want to be entrepreneurs, but they also don't want to pay taxes. And it's like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to build like a billionaire. It's like, but you're not even a multi-thousandaire yet. How you want to move like a billionaire? Like, make some money first. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, what makes you different, or what makes your teaching style different than a lot of the kind of, honestly, like the garbage that you're seeing out there?
So mine's is different, a way of understanding the situation. It's never one information fits all. I need to know more about what you're trying to accomplish, because I have clients that says, hey, I'm not trying to invest this year. I'm just in a situation where I just want to attain business credit, but I don't want to pay Uncle Sam. I said, all right, not trying to invest. You trying to attain business funding, right? I guess for the next year, I have no idea yet, but you don't have to pay taxes. Now, here's the thing. You have people that's telling you, yo, write off everything, don't pay nothing. But if you're in a situation in year you're making $0 because you wrote off everything, and you try to go to the bank and try to get a loan, what income did you prove that you make? You wrote off everything.
Yeah.
So it all depends on situational base what you're trying to do. Because if you're trying to get funding, you need to make sure you look like you made money either through your business or through your job. One or the other, both is even better. But you can't write off everything and hear these guys online or your neighbor, whoever you're listening to and taking this advice from, and telling you to write off everything. But you're in a position where you was trying to get funding, you were trying to buy a house, you were trying to do something, but you don't have no income. So I'm situational based. It's no one sets all. The only thing I would say, if you are going to start a business, make sure you have a business email, right? Make sure you have a business website. Make sure you have a business phone number. Make sure you file yourself as you name your business as a low risk industry, because banks like to see and like to lend to low risk industry companies. Knowing what your NAICS code is. This is a code that you get when you first walk into the bank. You need to know these type of things. This is one set of information I give to my clients, because knowing this information puts you in a position from either getting a $10,000 business funding credit card, or a $30,000 to $40,000, upwards to $75,000, depending on where you at. So setting up your personal credit profile the correct way, setting up your business credit profile the right way, having this in line, these are the type of information I'm giving straightforward. But as far as like the bad information, I love it, because honestly, it gives people a chance to understand, and they like me because I can break it down to them. It's not me just telling. I'm telling you, but then I'm telling you why. So, and that's a big difference in me on how I give out information.
Yeah, a couple things there I like that you're saying that some other people are not. Most things have nuance, right? So what you have going on might be different than somebody else. In fact, it most likely is. The very reason why you want to invest in real estate could be different than why I want to invest. So I think what happens is people sometimes get used to asking not great questions or very generalized questions, but it's like, no, this is about you. And this is where I think really where mentoring, like consultations help. Because I can only give generalized information. Like I've done a ton of videos, and you've done a ton of videos, and I can give you a bunch of generalized information that's true information, but it may not make sense for you. So one of the questions I always ask people is like, what are you trying to achieve? And sometimes they'll ask me, well, what would you do? Asking me if it's, I'm like, well, what I would do is not that important. It's really about what you're trying to achieve. Yeah. I need to know, because what you're trying to achieve may not be what I'm trying to achieve. And just to go back to the thing I was talking about earlier, with the not paying taxes. If you are already a multi-millionaire, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, you can play the tax game.
Exactly.
You can absolutely write off everything because you have already accrued a bunch of wealth.
You got access to.
If you're a wealth builder and you have not accrued a bunch of wealth, but you're also showing zero income, you're going to make it hard for you to. You're doing yourself, in my opinion, you're doing a disservice, right? And or you're going to be pigeonholed to certain products. Whereas if you have a tax return And we can kind of talk about COVID if you want to. I've given this example many times. When COVID hit, right at the beginning, when they were shutting down everything, I did the biggest refi cash out on a single property. Not I've done bigger ones on like across a portfolio. This is one property that I did during COVID, and all of the DSCR lenders that people were using because they wasn't really showing income, which I get. I'm not knocking it. It just wasn't. All those loans were getting canceled. I mean, canceled. They were shutting them down. I was doing a refi cash out in the 6-unit building, and the refi cash out part of it, the cash out part of it was like $240,000. And I'm like, yo, I know they're going to, every day I'm hearing everybody getting their loans shut down. I'm like, oh, they're going to get this, this going to get shut down. Every day. We closed on this loan. The last day you were allowed inside of an office building. Remember when you couldn't even go inside the office? Last day. And I remember up until the day we closed, I'm like, man, I know she's going to cancel this joint. And I get in there, I'm like, I thought y'all was going to cancel this loan. She was like, no, we did a full financial underwriting of you. We were comfortable with you then, and we're comfortable with you now. That's the difference, right? Because I had a strong financial, what's the word I'm looking for? I had a strong, man, why is my brain not working? But looking at my financials, they were strong, right? And so this was full underwriting. This is tax returns, bank accounts, and all that sort of stuff. And so, but that was a big difference, and that really helped me out to get through COVID and all the ups and down nonsense where a lot of other investors kind of had to scramble. So there is a big difference there.
100%. So, and that's another thing. So the caveat between everything, and I'm about to shoot myself in the foot with this information because it's like it don't go against what I said, but it's also true. It's like here's the thing. We at March now. So a lot of people did their tax, a lot of people didn't. If you did write off everything and now your income as reporting is zero, it's still not the end of the number. I haven't heard a situation that doesn't have a solution to it. Now, even though you can't get business loans or business line of credit, you can still get business credit cards because now with certain banks, they only want for your projected income for your business. So now as you put in your credit card application, you can still access the capital, go ahead and invest in real estate or whatever business that you want. But now you have to just change the way on how you apply and be very particular on what you're trying to get to invest. So I like going to banks like PNC. They pull from Experian, and I know on their application, they want you to put your projected income for your business for their business credit cards. And so if you're in a position where you did write off zero on your tax returns, or even last year you in that jam, that's your solution. Go to the banks that offer 0% interest business credit cards that don't report to your personal credit, and that you can use your projected income for your business so they can go ahead and improve you so you can invest. So that's the solution to that problem if there is one for everybody's watching.
No, and again, that's knowledge. This is stuff I wish. That's why I have these Money Mondays, right? To bring in experts, people who are actually doing it, and share this information. Like coming from where most people come from, not even where we come from. Right. Most anybody. This is not common information, right? And to your point earlier of, hey, you got to get around individuals that have this knowledge, right? And in my opinion, I say this all the time, right? Don't just get around Andre and say, hey, can I pick your brain? Right? That's like ridiculous. What's in it for Andre? And I definitely appreciate you coming on in because you are kind of allowing us to kind of get a glimpse into your knowledge. But if you get around individuals like Andre and similar folks, be ready to offer some value, some value, right? Because I think that opens way more doors than just being that person that goes around trying to siphon, just go into the room like locusts, just go in there, strip everything out and leave. right?
Yeah,
I mean, people are going to get hip to you real quick, and they just won't want to, and they won't want to be around you. And that's not how you build. It's not how you build relationships,
yeah, you
right?
right about
Yeah,
that.
go ahead.
I actually got that same situation happen. So a lot of people know I'm vegan, so I get a lot of my produce from like the produce store or even Whole Foods. And I know one of the guys that worked there,
Mhm.
and he followed me on social media and things of that nature. He heard about what I do, and every time I go in there, he always want to just ask me questions. I try to answer them, but I'm always on the go. Like I'm never staying in one place for a long period of time.
Mhm.
So as he's stopping me, I think this is probably like the fifth time he stopped me, and I was like, listen, I can't help you on the go. You're gonna
Mhm.
either have to join a mentorship, book a call, because you keep stopping me and I'm on the go. I'm either with my kids or I'm by myself just trying to go.
Mhm.
So he was like, well, how do I I don't get it. Like, what do I gotta do? And I told him again what exactly what I just said, man. And then I also had to educate him, like, listen, when it comes to me, when I see somebody that I'm trying to get value, when I'm trying to get value from, I give them value, but I don't give them another job by asking them, well, what can I do for you? Because now that's another job that nobody want to figure out, at least the person that has the value on the other end.
Mhm.
You can't ask, you just got to just give it. So I gave him an example. Like, I met up with this photographer that he wanted to network with me, but I had no idea. But you know what he did? He just started taking pictures and said, yo, look, you like these? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Boom. I take pictures. I needed somebody to take pictures for my units. That connection right there is a simple way of providing value without asking for a job, without picking your brain. You just provide value, and now we got a reason we can keep talking right now. What do
Yeah,
you need? Give me what I
yeah.
need. What can I give to you now? And that's why I say that I recommend that to anybody that see
Mhm.
anybody, right? If it's me, Dan, or anybody else out there that you want to access information or just network with,
Mhm.
provide the value first. Don't ask them, you know what I mean, what can I do for you? Because that's not going to do it. That's not going to put you in a position where you want to be. You want to be the person where you call or you ask a question, somebody's excited to get your call because they don't know what they about to get on the other line. They about to either get some great information, some good networking, but you don't want to be the person that called and everybody got their face. You don't want
This guy.
so this that's how you do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, honestly, one of the easiest ways, right? Let's just keep it real. One of the easiest ways, if you know the person has some sort of a program, just get part of the program. Because I'm gonna go back to the mindset piece of it, right? This is super, and this is a lot of this is, and I get it. But I want people to think about this. You're asking somebody who has the knowledge and experience and track record to change your life, but you don't want to invest in that. You want it for free. You want to be able to take the information they have for free so that you can make money. Right? That's one thing. The other thing is you don't think you're worthy enough to invest in yourself.
Mm,
That's the real thing. I want all the information for free because I want to invest in myself.
mm,
But that's a mindset thing. Like once you understand that, like I paid so much money to get into rooms, so much money to get into
yep.
rooms, right? And this is no picture. You do what you want to do. I know the real life outcomes of getting into those rooms, right? But that was a mindset shift.
You're right.
I had to understand, like, yo, like, there's nothing in this world for free. You
Nothing.
know what I mean? And if I want, if I appreciate, like, if there's somebody that I know, even if I know maybe they don't even have, let's say, a quote unquote program, but if they're doing something, I say, look, I have no problem sitting down and paying you for your time. I'll tell somebody that straight up.
Yep.
Number one, to show them that I respect them,
Yep.
that I value your time, I value what you've done.
Mm,
I'm not just trying to sit here and I'm not just trying to sit here and siphon away all of your, knowledge and information, as if it's worthless. So, but I think a lot of that goes back to mindset and seeing yourself as somebody that you need to invest in yourself.
100%. It expedites your process too. Like even from booking a call with you. Like I remember when I was looking for lenders to refi, a lot of lenders wasn't refining mixed use buildings, and they were trying to get you to put it in your personal name. So I'm like, it gotta be a way to do this in your business. And because we done did business with each other, I was able to network with you and get the information because I invested it into you. Now that I did that, I was able to get out of it. So sometimes it's actually almost all the time, it expedite your situation. So you thinking about the price, but think about what is going to change it, how it's going to change your life, what it's going to do for you. Because
Yeah.
now that I know that you got information that I need, that I want, it was gonna take me 5 years to do. Now it's gonna take me 1 year. Why not save 4 years out your
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
Why?
I think the thing is, people also don't think about what it's going to cost them not to know the information. See, because if you're only looking at information as like a cost, like a simple, almost like a light bill or like a water bill, it's not like that, right? If the information is good, if it's right, it pays back in multiples,
Right,
right? And once you have that information, nobody can ever take it
right,
from you, right?
right,
It's just being able to identify, I think, people that whose values are aligned with yours, and people who really have information that can help change your life. But ultimately, until individuals understand that they have to invest in themselves. There is no free ride. There is no cheap way out of this thing,
right,
right? And you are paying to expedite the process, right? You don't want to recreate the wheel. The wheel has already been created. There's
right,
very few new frontiers. And it
right,
ain't in real estate. Maybe in space or something like that. Yeah, okay, you'd be the first one to do it. This
right,
ain't space, right? All this information is already out there.
right.
I do want to touch on. I know you said that you did a project. So what was that project? What kind of project
So
was it?
it was a single family that we got a variance to turn into a 5 unit building, mixed use building. So it's 4 apartments and 1 commercial, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a monster. So put in sprinkler systems, underground plumbing, the full nine. Got two bedrooms apartments out of it, and two one bedrooms, and also a commercial space out of it. So what we're gonna do now is, because that got completed and we know the value of that, we got the lot next door under contract, and we're gonna do the same thing there. So it's that. I'm trying to tell you, I seen your block. I was motivated the first day. Remember when I first met you? Well, when I first seen you, I told you about the first time I ran into you,
Mm-hmm.
and I ain't know who you was yet, but I was like, yo, I know for some reason I know he got some information that I need. I already know it because you was coming out your building, and I was driving my kids to the police test museum not too far from one of your
Yeah.
buildings, and
Mm-hmm.
I just seen you go out. That's when you had the mohawk back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I for some reason God in the line my path with yours.
Mm-hmm.
And once I found owned the block, I said, "Oh man, this is what I need to get into." So
Yeah.
that's actually a copy and paste, because you became a mentor of mine, and that's a copy and paste strategy that I wanted to use. So that's what I'm executing right now. But that one project I did was something that I'm so glad I did, because I know for me, with everything in life, it doesn't come easy. Like it's almost set up where I have to do the hard things, and some people just set up that way. Like, I don't recommend that for a lot of people or anybody at all, honestly. But when you're somebody like me, you gotta understand that doing the hard way is the only way that makes sense. So I can learn it, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
did with that property. So
Well,
it's
well,
beautiful.
then, well, I must have that same personality because
Yeah,
God knows. I'm trying to find, say, a little smoother ways to get things done now.
yeah,
But I've learned so much, and there hasn't been anything that's happened so far in my career or in my life that I would take back, even the negative things.
exactly.
And people may find that hard to understand. And I say this all the time, is it's not because they were enjoyable. It wasn't enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not trying to give you like, oh man, this,
Yeah, it's
all
tough.
this, contractor headache is great. No, it sucked. The shit sucked, right? But once I got beyond the problem, there's always was some elevation there for me. There was something to learn. Like if you're the kind of person that is reflective, that is introspective, that can look at a situation and say, okay, well, what can I learn from this? I think some people just get frustrated from it and just kind of move on. I do get frustrated, but I try to look at it and learn from it. Okay, what can I do better next time? Right? Because problems are never, I think some people think problems at some point in your life is going to end. Like, problems are never going to, I don't know how much money you have. I don't care what, you always going to have some problems. So if you just try to run away from problems, you're just going to have a life that's probably unfulfilled. You're never going to have any challenges. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah. So even in like my position, even in this project, right? It was the challenge for me was I'm managing over 50 credit cards, right? 50 credit cards, maybe about 15 different lines of credit and loans, and we talking about multiple banking accounts. Sounds crazy, but I'm managing because I have a system. Now, during that process, like during the stage of refinance, I was late on one of the credit cards, right? I was late. And it's actually one of my personal credit cards that reported to my personal credit during the refi. So if you was ever in the midst of a refi, if you get a late payment that counts 35% of your credit score, it tanked it. It tanked it so far in the basement, it dropped me down from being qualified for a nice interest rate to all the way down to I was right like a 750, and I went all the way down to like 540. And
Wow.
lenders was denying me. They was denying me for a refi. I was stuck. I had all this money in the building that I had to take the equity out, but I was stuck. That was my problem. You know what a lot of people would have done? They would have cried. They would have stopped. They would have panicked. But what I was doing, I was taking from that problem was, all right, what's the solution on this? And I said, credit. Had to go back to my roots. So what I did was I started a whole breakdown on I pulled up my credit report. I said, all right, what can I do to remove this late payment off my credit report? I took all the necessary steps. I went on ceogmail.com, email.com. I contacted the credit. I contacted the credit agency, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. I did dispute online. I sent some letters. So I did multiple tags, and I got the late payment removed off my credit report just in time, where I was able to get that information from you, and I actually spoke to the underwriter, that the person that looks at the deal, they see my credit, I was like, oh, okay, your credit is good. I'm like, yes, I know. So I got who jumped my score back up and got a crazy interest rate of 7%, where they was quoting me from 12% when that late payment hit. So that when I hear the problems, is don't get me wrong, I don't love it, I don't like it, but when I know that I could just sit there and think of a solution that come with it and it work, it feels so bittersweet. I can't even lie.
Yeah, I mean,
problems. You gotta get those solutions in line. Don't just get stuck. Don't get so frustrated where you can't think of a solution. Hear that problem, follow that problem, and then be in position to say, all right, what is the best solution to this? So that's what I do.
I mean, that's the process, right? Again, it all roads leads back to our minds, right? All roads lead back. If you have to be a problem solver, some people just fold under pressure. Right. They literally fold, and it's like, no, you can't fold. You have to, because what happens is what a lot of people do is they get into like a feedback loop where they get stuck with just the problem.
Right.
And you keep going right back to the problem. It's like, no, okay, I know what the problem is. I got to start figuring out a solution. And sometimes you just got to sit quietly. This is what I do. I'll just sit quietly. Just ideas will start coming to me. Okay, let me try to. And then what happens is they be like, man, why have I never thought about this in the past? It's because like you never had to. And that's the way your mind works. Your mind is a muscle. It only works as hard as it needs to. Right. And the moment you put it to work, like, yo, figure this thing out, it's going to figure it out. It's going to figure out something. 100%. Right. But if you never put yourself under any pressure, right, I'm not saying necessarily just look for ways to screw up, but it's going to happen. Right. So or is that, and that even might necessarily be a screw. It's just, hey, I got to solve this problem. And so and that's what you're going to do.
I even had an expert realtor in Philly. I don't disclose any of my clients, but I had an expert realtor in Philly. He booked a call with me, all from a simple situation of, yo, I got two of my clients, they husband and wife. we're trying to get this deal closed, but I don't know why the lender can't pull their credit. So now that I hear that, I'm like, all right, this was a situation where, and again, everybody's human. So it's certain situations where you might come into a problem and you just can't think of a solution. So you got to bring somebody else in it. I was that somebody else that had to bring into it. So I brought into it and I said, all right, did you do this? Did you pull their credit? Yes. Okay. You said they was married. Okay. Now look at the credit report. Is the new name, the new last name on your client's credit report, does it match what's on the application that she put in for the mortgage? They said, oh no, tell the lender what happened as far as you just got married, and that her last name from prior to getting married is on the credit report, and tell them that you want to put the new one on there, which you want to call the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. Have that report in the right last name so your deal can get approved. And that's what happened, because with lenders, when the thing is, their big thing is, if it looks fraudulent, they're going to deny the application. And because the lender that application of the married couple, and they seem like, oh, you put on your application that your last name's Smith, but it's Johnson on your credit report. Oh, this might be fraud. Denied. By that simple text, it was the problem. Here's the solution. So again, always think, how can I figure out a solution to the problem? Not, oh my God, it's a problem. Why it's got to happen to me? So just take the time.
Yeah, no, I think those are great tips, man. So we're at the top of the hour. Definitely before we log out, I just want to let everybody know again, this Wednesday, Bragg is having its first in-person meeting. It's going to be we have a great panel lined up. We're going to be talking about winning strategies for 2024. You heard Andre talk about it. You've heard me talk about it. You have to network. You have to get around like-minded people. You want to be at this Bragg event. So after you get off here, shoot over to @Bragg Investors, sign up. It's going to be a lot of great info, a lot of great people, and like-minded folks. So if you're not a part of Bragg, you definitely should check Bragg out. Andre, definitely let us know all the things that you have going on, and how folks can follow you and all of that good stuff.
So you can follow me, Haynesworth_Andre. You could just hit, I think the profile's up on the top on the left corner. You just tap my name, follow me. If you need help with funding, just DM me funding. Me and somebody on my team will reach out to you and we'll get you set up. If you need help with personal credit, DM me credit. We'll help you with your personal credit. If you want to just book a call, it's just the first link that speak to Andre Haynesworth, and we give him a call, and I promise you we can figure out any solution to your problem.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I've booked Andre's consultation, and he is extremely knowledgeable. So if you want to start working with business credit, he's definitely the go-to person. I really appreciate you, Andre, man. You're doing some great things. Looking forward to seeing all the things that you get done in 2024, and I'm certain I'm going to be seeing you at some events coming up soon.
Definitely.
So until next time, brother.
Thank you for having me. Peace
All right,
out.
man. Be safe. All right, guys. Talk to you next Monday.